All right, so that box that you guys just saw, it's one out of three that I was supposed to get today. I have to go pick up the other two at the UPS store because they wouldn't accept my checks. They were temporary, which sucks because I have to go through a bunch of phone calls and setting up things and printing out things, whatever. So before I go pick up the shirts, I have to head to my shop and meet up with Anthony. I don't know if you guys remember earlier in the week I printed his shirts, the ones that said Weiss and World Trade Security on the back. So we're gonna go meet up with him, give him the shirts, and then come back home and wait till 8 so I can go pick up the shirts. The rest of the shirts that I'm picking up are gonna be for Hidden Track Bottle Shop and the sweatshirts for King Pearl. So let's go get that. I just left the bank. Now I have to go to Circle K to pick up a money order so that I can get the shirts from UPS later today. Alright, so I got the money orders that I needed. I'm about to head to the shop to meet up with Anthony. He's just going to be there to pick up. I'm going to introduce you guys to him. And let's see if there's any traffic in this freeway right now. I bet you there isn't any. Alright, I'm here at the shop and I'm sitting at the front store and I'm just thinking of all the opportunities that are going to be available for clothing lines to set up their shop here once we get this ball rolling with Knife and Garments. Once that event is said and done, I'm going to start posting on Instagram and letting people know that all they have to do is repost my post and they'll be entered. They'll be entered for a chance to win and set up here. Now, all this is going to change, obviously, once you bring your own stuff when you win. We're going to get that couch out of here to make more room. We have some of my hats there. We have some of my shirts here. And then Dylan's shirts are back there also. But we can change everything up to however you want it or whatever your preference is as far as the look. I'm very excited for that. I can't wait. Hopefully, you guys are on board so you can come and set up basically for free after I choose you. And I'm thinking of doing one pop up per week. So stay tuned, let your friends know. Follow me on Instagram. I'm going to leave a link below so you can click on it and follow me. And then just like we'll go from there or whatever. So on yesterday's episode, I spoke about that one color that I burned first while I was explaining and doing a tutorial on how to burn screens. I did this one for Matt at King Pearl. They have a skate shop up in Prescott. So while we wait for Anthony, why don't we set that up and show you guys a little bit of how to set up a one color while we wait. The best way for me to explain this on how to set up a one color, you need an empty head, obviously. Um, Load up your frame, and then by setting up the proper height on how I showed you guys yesterday how to burn, you're gonna have your left chest, and it's gonna be straight so that when you set it up, it's not all crooked and you're having a hard time. So let's bring out the T-square and we're gonna center this to our left chest position, lock in the screen, and then we're gonna tape everything else that we don't need to not make a mess. And I'll show you guys how I tape. So when you put your T-square on the pallet, you gotta make sure that it's flush up against one side. That's very important. A lot of people think that it's funny or they think that it's okay if it's just a little bit off, or even if there's like a buildup on the side and you think it's pressed up against the board, that's not gonna work. So you gotta keep this side nice and clean so that your image comes out straight once you center it. Alright, so we're gonna bring the screen down. We have our T-square down here. I know that it's hard to see, but it's lined up to my registration mark. So we have that nice and straight. And then for my left chest position, I like to have it about 3 fingers over from the center. My boards measure 15 inches, so 7.5 would be the center. From there, I just measure about 3 fingers. So there it is. And that is gonna give us our left chest position, so that when we load the shirts, we know that we're not too far over or too close to the center. Okay, so once we have the screen where we want it, we have it to the proper position so that it's right on the chest. We're gonna hold down the screen and then tie it down. Doesn't have to be way tight. It doesn't have to be super loose. You don't want it to move around on you. You don't want the frame to go out of place when you're moving your press. Okay, so now that we know that the screen is nice and secured, we're gonna tape it. For taping, I like to use the 3-inch tape by Shirt Tape. Can you see it? Shirt Tape. And we're gonna tape off the back and then the side print. We only want the left chest. Also very important, you do not want to forget to tape off your registration mark on this side of the screen. Okay, so now that the screen is nice and taped the way I like it, we're going to print a sample and send it to our customer, Matt, so that he can approve, make sure that the color is right, make sure that everything's spelled correctly, and once that is good to go, we're going to get the shirts at the UPS store, so we're going to go do that, and then tomorrow evening, we're going to come and print them. We're going to use a black Pellon to print the sample because it's going to be white ink going on black sweaters. I like to use 375 to hold down my Pellon when I'm printing my samples. So there it is. That is the sample right there. We're going to send them a picture. That is for the left chest. I'm going to send them a picture right now so we can get approval. Tomorrow we're going to print them. I will do the same for the back and for the side print. It goes like somewhere up around here in the pocket. And then that's it. So I hope you guys learned something today. We're still waiting for Anthony. Looks like I'm gonna have time to set up another job, and the second one's gonna be for the hidden track bottle shop. I already locked down my screen, added the ink. I have my white Pellon down here. This is gonna be a 3-color setup. I'm gonna show you guys what to do after you have all that locked in and the Pellon printed. Once you have your Pellon printed, we're gonna tape over this, and we're gonna use this to set up the other 2 colors. So let's tape up the Pellon. Once you have it taped up, we're gonna bring in our second and third screen. These colors are gonna be a light gray and a black. So now let's set those up to the red. Okay, so what we're doing here is lining up the registration marks that are on the screen. They're hard to see, but we're gonna line those up to the ones that are printed in red. Once they're lined up, we're gonna lock the screen. We're gonna repeat that process for the black and the gray. Once they're both locked in, we're gonna tape the screens. We're gonna print over the pellon and see if we are lined up with our registration marks. Once we are all lined up, we're gonna tape off the registration marks on this side on all 3 screens. We're gonna print all of the prints on the pellon, and then again, we're gonna send approval to the customer to see if it looks good, the colors are right, everything's spelled correctly. Once it's approved, we're gonna print. Okay, I just printed the black over the red pellon, and I wanna show you guys what I mean by lining up the dots or the registration marks. And then once you see that, we're gonna wipe off the black and we're gonna print the gray over it to make sure everything's lined up. Once they are all lined up, we're gonna print them all together. And you can see how the image, or you can see how the design is starting to come together. Okay, now the gray is gonna be a little hard to see because we have a white pellon underneath. There it is. It's lined up. Now let's take the tape off the pellon and then put them all together. There it is. All 3 colors are together. Now I'm gonna send this picture, or a picture of that, to Craig, and if he approves it, we start running the shirts. Once they're done, there it is. I got both of the samples printed today, 3 color and 2 color. Now we're still just waiting for Anthony to show up. Once he comes, I'm gonna introduce him to all of you guys, and probably go pick up the shirts at the UPS store and call it a day. Thank you guys for watching. That's gonna be it. No stress. And then what else do we have?
And these ones are
Word.
Yeah, these ones just the Y's in the front with the World Trade Center in the back. Tuesday's Children. Yeah, these are clean. Bet, bro.
So that was Anthony. I think I'm gonna call it a day now. I have to go pick up the shirts at the UPS store. I mentioned it like 10 times already. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked today's video. If you have any questions about anything I did today with the setups, please comment.